I think the skills are going to be somewhat the same. I think you're going to have to be able to work together with other people. I think you're going to have to be able to critically think. I think you're going to have to be creative. I think you're going to have to be able to look for evidence and form your opinion based on evidence. I'm going to sit down.
One of the things that we have to do as part of a proposal when we seek funding to transform our room, Dr. Wolf, is that we have to design a budget within our proposal. From what we understand of superintendency roles, you have a heavy hand in understanding the budget. Can you give us some advice in constructing a good budget?
Yeah, I think, constructing a budget, I think, is, it's going to be kind of a challenge. And the reason it's a challenge is because right now, as probably all of you know, there are limited resources. So the thing that we need to do is we need to prioritize what are the most important things that we're doing in our schools. And then when you're talking about creating your room or creating your 21st century learning environment, you need to be able to really identify what are those skills that you're going to be able to improve upon because of this redesign of your room. So whether it's you're going to be able to collaborate more easily, whether you're going to be able to work with other students in other classrooms or other places in the world, I think all of those things are very important. And I think the other thing that I think I would encourage all of you to do is I think there are probably some grants out there that we really look and try to find some grants that will help us find sources for funding for some of these innovative projects that you're talking about. And I think that's where, as superintendent and you as students, you know, you need to go onto the web probably and start looking for those types of opportunities, because I think they're out there. It's just a matter of us being able to find them and really justify the need for them. Yes, sir.
Do you think kids will learn better with the new change in the classroom?
I do. I think that kids will learn better because they're going to be more engaged. And I really believe that kids that are interacting with one another, that are encouraging one another to really do their best, are taking advantage of opportunities to set goals and go after goals themselves in the classroom, those students are more motivated to be successful. And you know, one of the things that I hope that you all are really thinking about is, okay, what kind of learner am I? Am I the kind of learner that sits back and just takes everything in? Or am I the kind of learner that asks questions and then goes out and seeks to find the answers? And so when we talk about a 21st century classroom, it's about creating that environment for those students to go out and ask more questions and to pursue their own learning goals. And I think that's a big part of it as well. Do you have a question?
What are some methods that you can describe?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Are you,
What are you thinking?
is for example, thing maybe
Basically, can you describe methods for like making the budgets actually more useful? Because if you have a long string of numbers, it's not really useful.
Okay, sure. I think one of the things that when you're thinking about setting your budget, I think you would want to really, again, start out with why are you doing it? And have a very clear reason as to why you're doing whatever it is you're planning on doing. And so then, once you've figured out the why, then you can tie in the what. And what is it that you want to do? What is it you want to purchase? What is it you want to have in the classroom that you're going to use? And when you combine the why and the what, I think then you're going to have a very compelling reason to have that change in your classroom, whatever it is you're asking for. Yes, sir.
What are some ways to raise money to expand our budget?
I think I think it depends on how much you're looking to raise. I think one of the things that, as a superintendent, we have committees throughout the school district. One of them is our board, Curriculum and Technology Committee. And what we have talked about is, we've talked about the need to, put our money where our priorities are. And so if we say technology is a priority, if we say that a technology savvy student is a priority, then we need to be able to say, when we're making our goals and we're making our priorities, that we're going to devote the money for technology staffing, for whatever it is we need to purchase in that area.
Cool.
How about somebody who hasn't asked a question yet?
What will the school system be like in 2020?
Well, I hope our school system will continue to be strong. One of the things that we can be proud of in the Haworth schools is our students graduate at a very high rate. Our students are able to go out there and compete for jobs. What I would like to see us do by 2020 is, I would like to see more of our students have 21st century technology skills. So more coding, more use of technology in the classroom, more opportunities to create with technology. Those are the kinds of things that I'd like to see us have by the time 2020 gets around. There's really, so how many of you, just out of show of hands, how many of you think that you might like to go to college someday? Raise your hand. Okay, most of you, some of you not, that's okay. Okay, you can put your hands down. One of the things that I want to tell you, so I've got a son and a daughter that are getting ready to go to college, so I've been visiting colleges. And my son is actually interested in going into a computer engineering or computer science field. He originally wanted to make video game designs, or do video game designing. One of the things that's fascinating in that field, the job placement rate right now in that field is almost 100%. Basically, anybody who really wants a job in that field, if you have the skills, you're going to find a job. And the starting salary for those majors is up in the $50,000 to $60,000 range, which is a very, very good starting salary for somebody coming out of college. And so, we know that not everybody's going to be interested in that. That would be silly, because some of you are artists, some of you are athletes, some of you, work with your hands. But my point is this: there are a lot of people out there in our schools that would be interested in doing things like working with programming and video game design, and some of you probably have parents that work at State Farm. And State Farm, of course, that's an information technology. That's really related to these technology skills. Those jobs are out there for you young people. And, you know, we have a shortage of people with those types of skills in this country. And that's why you're seeing these major employers, State Farm included, you know, they're importing technology workers from India and Southeast Asia, and they're bringing them to the United States because they can't find Americans to take these jobs. And so one of the things that I think that we need to do is we need to say, look, hey, we got smart kids in Haworth. Let's prepare our smart kids in Haworth for some of these jobs. I mean, because, look, I'd like to see all of you graduate and get a great job coming out of college. Good question.
Dr. Wolf, one of your areas that your job, whether you intended to know about that of your job anyway, is collaboration. You talked about collaborating with staff, collaborating with other superintendents, collaborating in general. So what generic advice would you have for collaboration in terms of trying to stay strong in your group and not let the negativity hinder the progress of the group?
Sure, that's a great question. So, you know, part of being a superintendent is being able to filter information, and one of the things that you guys probably don't know, but you know, there's always things in the news about the budget at the state, the politicians in the state, the governor's doing this, the legislators doing that. One of the things that we have to do as superintendents is we have to really filter all that information and keep a positive outlook on things. We have gotten to the point where you know, we are a group of superintendents that collaborate already. We meet about once a month and we talk about things, and we shore each other up. We help each other out if we have problems, and so, you know, I think that just like students working together to understand a learning concept, you know, superintendents do that too. If I had a question about doing a tax levy, I have any number of friends, superintendent friends that would be resources for me. I could call and we could talk to about the process, and they would be glad to help me out. And so I guess what I'm saying is the things that we're talking with you about to do inside your classroom, we do those things already as superintendents. We collaborate. We, you know, if we don't know how to do something, we pick up the phone and call our superintendent friend, superintendent at Leroy, the superintendent at Unit 5. You know, I pick up the phone and give them a call. I probably call them once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and ask them a question. And likewise, they call me. And so we just share information that way. It's a great question. Yeah.
What kind of personality do you think is needed for a superintendent job?
For a superintendent job, I think it takes, I think first off, I think you have to have someone who likes kids and likes to work with kids and likes teachers and likes to work with teachers. You know, one of the things that you can find in whatever career you go into, there are certain personality traits that work real well and some don't. And I noticed that you guys have done the Myers-Briggs. So I think that you know, that first letter, I think, is whether you're an introvert or extrovert. I think, you know, being extroverted definitely helps in the superintendency. I think also, you know, using good judgment helps. The superintendency is a lot about, you know, being visible too. So, you know, setting a plan in place and being able to go out and talk to people. Quite honestly, this being in your classroom today, I can't thank Mrs. Bonner enough and you enough, because this is something that I truly enjoy doing. I loved being a teacher, I loved